Hello everyone, it's Jessica and I'm back with another scrapbook process video for you for the Peartree Cutfiles design team. Today I am using this cute cut file that says My Boys, which is just perfect for these photos of my two sons at the amusement park here. And I am starting off using a background paper by Paper Rose Studio, and I am using a Peartree stencil which features some lovely gears on it, which is just perfect for a grungy boy layout. So I'm just using this stencil with some black soot distress oxide, and I was going to use regular ink with this or like a texture paste, but I wanted it to just be very subtle in the background. I didn't really want it to pop a whole lot, so I wanted to keep it just a little bit of grunge in the background and just add some appeal to my wood grain paper, but I didn't want it to be very in your face, so I left it really subtle with the Distress Oxide. And then I'm just distressing a few areas of the edges of the paper, and I'm going to pop some of the kind of coppery reddish color in those areas with my tiny attacher by Tim Holtz. And then I'm going to do some more little stamping here around some of the edges with one of my just stamp sets that I got from wish.com. I don't know the name of it, but it's just a random one in my stash that I'm going to use, and I'm going to use crackling campfire with that. So as soon as I get done attaching these, I'll move on to the stamping here. I do tuck a little piece of scrap paper behind it. I could get ink on this glass mat, but just for easier cleanup for me, so I don't have to scrub it down so much, I do try to use scrap paper. So here's the crackling campfire stamp that I'm talking about. Kind of look like tire treads to me, so that's what I used. And then I am adding some white splatters using some white Liquitex gesso. And I use gesso versus white paint because when you water down acrylic paint, it does react with the Distress Oxides and it kind of changes the color in it. So I try to stick with the white gesso on layouts like this. So I'm just adding lots of grungy splatters, and then I'm going to set that aside to dry while I work on my cut file. So here's how I am backing my cut file. I let my Cricut do all the work for this one. I didn't do anything fancy. I just cut the cut file in the coppery shade of pattern paper first, which is also by Paper Rose, and then I cut it again in the kind of grungy, metal-y kind of pattern paper that you see here, and I just used the contour feature to fill in all those letters. So then I'm just adding my middles back in, and I'm just using my Creative Memories glue pen here. It seems to work pretty good for things like this. And these little pieces are kind of small, so I do use my tweezers with them to hold on to them and then help adhere them down. So there's my cut file. It's backed and ready to go, and I'm just going to pull in my photos and back them with some textured black cardstock here I have on my scrap pile beside me, and I'm just distressing the edges. And then I am just going to pull in and do a double mat on this from that same coppery pattern paper that I've been using on the rest of it. As you have watched my videos before, you know that I like to recycle things when I'm scrapping and use every piece that I can in the layout, so that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to use up my little scraps and all of the pieces. So I'm just cutting those with scissors. Not perfect. I'm not worried about it. It's distressed, so it doesn't really matter to me if it's perfectly cut. So here is my cut file on my dried background paper. I just set it aside to dry while I was working on everything else, and that was long enough. I didn't have to use my heat gun or anything. And then I'm just going to finish embellishing. So I have just pulled out basically anything that I can find for this layout to match. So I'm using a lot of random miscellaneous embellishments. It's taken me a while to scrap these photos because the car that they're in is just such an odd color. It's like a burnt orange kind of rusty color, and I really didn't have a lot of inspiration for it until I saw this cut file that said My Boys, and I thought, wow, this would be perfect to do with those photos of them in that little car, and I could make it kind of a rusty, kind of like grungy tire / gears mechanical type layout. So this is just perfect for it, and I am just pulling out anything from my stash that I think matches with this, anything random that I have. I'm going to throw on a couple of those adventure stickers, and this one from Crate Paper Magical Forest collection is just perfect because it says all play all day, which is exactly what we did. We were at the amusement park all day having a blast. So I pulled out some of those, and I pulled out some of these random ones I got from Hobby Lobby. And then I also pulled out some Peartree pieces, which you can see those little stars and the little camera in the corner of my photos there. So I've just pulled out a lot of random little bits for this. So this is a good one, a good type of layout to do if you are stash busting or you want to use up a lot of random things. It's perfect to do on a layout like this where you can just scatter things about and just do a lot of random embellishments. So that's basically what I did here, just picking out a couple more pieces, and that's pretty much gonna finish this up for me. I will link the cut file below for you in case you want to grab that from the shop. And we have lots of challenges going on in our group all the time, every month, so you can always play along, and a lot of times Marie gives out freebie cut files for you to use, so be sure to keep an eye out for those and grab them as well. So I'm just going to finish up this layout by adhering these little Peartree pieces down with my Nuvo adhesive. This is a good adhesive if you just have something quick you need to stick down. And here's my finished layout. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Feel free to hit that subscribe button so you're notified of future videos that I post. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.